My name is Clint Stevens. I am the Regional Technology Trainer for SEDC, Southwest Educational Development Center. My background, I was a science teacher for 12 years, one of which was here at Salt Lake Arts Academy, 10 of which were in Escalante, Utah. Any of you heard or been through Escalante? Okay, if you blink, you miss it. That's okay, it was a great place to be. So this presentation, everything I'm doing is on my website, sedcclint.com, under the UCET page at the top. So this link and the link to all the rest of my stuff is there, and I'll put that link to the document. Do I need to put that back up for 3 seconds? Okay. All right, and so that'll get you to the list. Please don't send me an email saying to share it with you. You can just save a copy of it, and that list can be yours in your own Google Drive. All right, so as I mentioned, that's who I am. Here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to talk about 72 to 75 apps. There are a couple in each category that are unique and different enough to kind of mention. But we're going to work our way around the clock, talking about apps for productivity in your classroom, things to help you with core area, the other general ed kind of stuff, and then my motivation to get to that last 15 is these are the fun apps that I like just to use in education in general. So let's power through these productivity apps. And if you get sick, just close your eyes. You really aren't moving. It'll bring you back to life. Okay, so Keynote and Pages. I make no promises that these apps are revolutionary that I'm going to give to you today. These are just, my best recommendations. These are two of the best productivity apps on the iPad. If you are lucky enough to have purchased your iPad from September 30th on, these apps are free now. They used to be about $5 a piece. Along with GarageBand and iMovie and Numbers. Those productivity apps from Apple they made. There's lots of seats on this side, guys. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Yeah, so normally they're expensive, but they are pretty much the best at doing what they do. Pages is good for page layout. Keynote is my by far favorite presentation app. Although I'm not using it today, I'm using Prezi. But just some amazing things you can do with those. Apple actually has an online version of Iwork now, so that documents can be kind of Google Doc'd and worked on collaboratively, and you can share them. And actually students, if you have like Chromebooks in your classroom, you can use Iwork online for free and have these quality apps online that you normally wouldn't be able to install on a Chromebook or anything else like that. Okay, iCab Mobile. This is maybe I'm going too fast. This is a separate browser, so different than Safari. It's a couple of bucks. I used to really love this because you used to be able to download YouTube videos with it. That's against the terms of use, I guess, from YouTube. So they've had to take that piece out. But it does have a download manager in it. Plus, it has some really good plugins that work well with a lot of other bookmarking sites and social sites that we're using more and more in education. So there's your download manager. If you just do a long press on something you want to download, like a video or a picture or something else, lots of seats on this side, guys. Come on in. You're fine. I'm not going to attack you. Maybe I will. So you can, and then the good thing about that is that if you don't have good wireless in your classroom, you can download these videos or things you want to use in your classroom, and they will be stored within that app that you can then either play from within the app or open it in these other applications. In Safari, when you hit that little square button, little square with an arrow going out of it, you have like 4 great choices. You can email it, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But with iCab Mobile, you can bookmark it in Readability or in Google Read. Well, let's take that screen out of there. Google Reader's gone. But Pocket, StumbleUpon, any of these other social services, Evernote, that you're using to save your content and to share with students, it easily ties into. And again, just to download something, do a long press on the object you want to get, and you get all these options that pop up. So that was iCab Mobile. Google Drive. How many of you guys have moved to Google Apps for your school email and everything else? Most everyone has by now. We switched about 5 years ago, and it was probably the best thing that we did. We were blocking about 250,000 spam messages a day just in our little 7-person office. But Google Drive and all the Google, like the the docs and the spreadsheets and presentations come along with it. So this Google Drive app is free. You sign in with your school account, and all of your Google Drive documents and folders and everything are there. It's a newer app, so right now you can open and view documents, open and view spreadsheets, and view presentations. You can't build presentations with the app yet, but I'm sure that's something that's coming sooner rather than later, especially with Office coming out on the iPad. Also a great way to utilize the camera and the videos you can take, the pictures and videos on your iPad. Because let me show you the interface here. Hit that little button up here that is obscured by my Space Invader that says plus, and I can upload photo or video or just use the camera right there. So if I'm using my iPad for videos or photos, easy way to get it into a student's Drive account or into your Drive account so that then it can go everywhere else that it needs to go instead of trying to plug in the iPad or do things like that. Super app for storage like that. Again, it's just like Google Docs Online. You're collaborative. You can have up to 10 people. Come on in. It's okay. There's seats over here. Up to 10 people on a document and a presentation at one time. You can have up to 50 people in a spreadsheet working at the same time and collaboratively working together. It's a great tool. And you've got some basic, word processing things there for free. And if you're already using Google Apps with your school, it's a no-brainer to have that one. That was Google Drive. This may be obsolete, I don't know, because we're going to get to one of the biggest updates that it's been. I don't know if it's big or not, but this is an Office suite for the iPad, and it's less than what you would pay for the other ones. The other ones are like $15, $20 for documents to go, or I can't remember what the other ones are called. This one is $7, $8, and it works with all of your Word, PowerPoint, Excel files. You can pull things in from Google Docs, your Dropbox, all kinds of other sites. And it's a full-blown, Office tool for your iPad, and it's only $8. So you can see you've got all your formatting tools there for a document. You can insert tables into a document. This is the presentation tool with shapes and everything you'd pretty much need. And then in the table part, put in different tables. These are all the different services it can connect with. So it's a pretty versatile tool. Don't know if it's necessary. Time will tell, because we're going to talk about a couple other things. Drafts. This is my favorite, just quick note-taking app for the iPad. Because a lot of times if you're using the notebook that's given to you, or Evernote or anything else, you've got to open it up, create a new note, put it in the place you want it to go. But what Drafts does is when you open it up, you get a blank screen and a blinking cursor. So it is just ready to take in your information as fast as you can put it in there. And then once you create a note, I'll just get in there and show you. So you get in there, you just see this blank screen. You've got some extra cursor keys on the top that you usually have to push a couple buttons to get to. But you just start typing and put in your information. And then once you're done, all of your notes or your little drafts or whatever are saved there on the left-hand side. So you just pull the screen to the right, and then there's all your notes. As soon as you pick up a note, you can go back and edit it or use it as is. Then you swipe to the right, from right to left, and you can do any of these other things that we can't do with Safari or those other note programs. You can tweet it quickly. Pretty much anything you can do, send it to Evernote, drop it in Dropbox, or you can even set up custom actions. I've got one that says email the note to myself. It'll take the first line and make it the title of my email, and the body is the rest of the note. And so one touch and my note is in my inbox, where I can then do something with it. Great quick tool for taking apps. And if you guys have questions, please don't be afraid to ask. I probably won't get through all these, so I'd rather answer questions and be helpful than just be a barrage there. Evernote. How many guys are using Evernote? Okay. It's a great service, and the great thing about it for you and for your students is its ubiquity. It is on every platform, on any device. Any web browser can tie into it. And so anywhere you are, you can put stuff into Evernote. You can put it in separate notebooks, tag them with tags, or put them into categories so you can find those things later on. Your notes can be text, photos, and audio, and are auto-synced wherever you are. The one thing that I think is the real special sauce of Evernote is that if you take a picture of text, like a whiteboard or whatever else, it will scan that picture for any text that it can see and then makes that text searchable within your notes. Right, so practical application for that, I needed a pest control because we had nice earwigs running all over the place. And I was at Smith's and I saw a guy with a sticker on his truck that says pest control. And I didn't want to remember it, so I just snapped a picture of it, put it into Evernote. And then when I was ready to make that call, I just searched Evernote for pest. That picture came up and I had the phone number and everything else that I needed. You can also do audio recordings as well, and there's this service called Voice to Note that's in the notes that will let you transcribe those audio recordings for free, up to 5 a month. So we've got different notebooks. It organizes them by time, by tag. I can search, put in pictures, put in audio, pull in up pictures that I've already had. You can insert PDF documents, PowerPoints, things like that. So it's just kind of a place to just dump your notes and organize them. I also use another app that I'll show you in a second to scan whatever handouts I get at a meeting or a conference and digitize those, because normally when I was a teacher, when I went to a great conference like this and I got handouts, what happens to them? You put them in a folder, and then that folder gets deeper in your drawer, and 3 years later when you're cleaning out your desk this summer, like, wow, that was a good conference. I never used that at all. So it just makes that stuff searchable and being able to let you get to it when you need it. Okay, Evernote. Dropbox. Do we need to talk about, yeah, question?
Evernote, you store all that online?
Yes, so with the free account, you can store up to 100 megabytes of notes per month for free. The premium account will allow you to do shared notebooks with students and more storage and stuff like that, and it's a pretty good deal. I think it's $25 a year. But yeah, it does sync it all online as well. Okay, Dropbox. Speaking of syncing things online, does everyone know about this, or I need to talk about this one? Yes? Okay, so Dropbox, what's cool about this one is it's free service. You get 2 gigabytes of storage for free. I think maybe it's up to 5 now if you sync photos to it. But basically, whatever computers you install Dropbox on, and if you put things in a special Dropbox folder, it will sync and back up. So it backs your files up online, keeping those safe. Plus, it syncs it to any other computer. So if you're working on a lesson plan from home, save it in Dropbox. It'll be waiting for you when you get to school. You don't have to email it to yourself or carry around a thumb drive or anything. But then on mobile devices, you can access any of those files whenever you want. It doesn't really download them because of the limited storage on your devices, but you can access that stuff whenever you need it, as long as you have an internet connection. You can store cute puppy photos and other stuff like that, funky little things. Yeah, question, yeah?
I'm not really seeing a difference between Dropbox, OneDrive, and Google Drive. Is there any difference now?
No. Not really. Google Drive is just a little bit different because it does have that editing interface built in with all those files. It's online. So that's the great thing about Google Drive, is that if a kid has a Drive account, wherever they have a web browser, they can be doing stuff. They don't have to have Office installed or other things like that. Dropbox is just simply file storage and syncing. Yeah. You can. Yeah, so in do you see those, are there star icons there? You can star these files in Dropbox and they will automatically be synced. They'll always be there. But it doesn't automatically sync everything. Yeah. Right. Right. On the iPad, yeah, that's true. Yep. Yep, good point. Thanks. And more stuff like that. Okay, that was Dropbox. Switching gears a little bit, Doceri. This is a great tool for presenting from your iPad. They trick you a little bit. The app is free. You can use it for free. If you have a little device to tether your iPad to it, you can use all of their backgrounds. Hey, how are you, Denise? Good to see you. All the backgrounds and stuff like that. But if you want to be able to do what it does best, which is connect to your desktop and allow you to record and annotate on top of your desktop that's already connected to the projector, then you've got to pay $30 for the desktop software to talk to the app and do the recording and stuff like that. It's an amazing tool, but to use it to its fullest, it's going to cost $30. But again, you've got your PC or your Mac, whatever. You can see your screen. On your screen, You've got annotation tools and things like that. I think I've got a screenshot of it here. Yeah, so you've got all these tools, highlighters, markers. This is to step backward in your annotations, step forward in your annotations, wipe them all out, and you can present on top of these different backdrops that they have. So they have different chalkboards and graph papers and maps and things like that. But you can also annotate on top of your desktop, and whatever's there, you can do your discussion and your lectures, and if you have that record button clicked right there, it will record everything you say. And the cool thing about it is that since the iPad is traveling with you, you're doing your annotations, you're talking into the microphone on the iPad, it captures all that and records it, and then with a click you can upload it to YouTube or anywhere else. So it's a great way to record and archive your instruction as well. You can see the interface here to play through your annotations. So say you just went through and explained long division, you could just put it on a loop, just say play it back over and over again while I go around and work with students individually to help them where they need help. Yeah? Educreations, you're only doing stuff that's on your iPad. So you're only annotating on photos or whatever else. This brings in whatever's on your desktop that you can take charge of and record off of. Please come in. If you guys want to come in, it's okay. I don't mind. There's chairs here and there up here. And this one you can present alone from your iPad or through your computer. It's a very powerful tool, does amazing things. Again, with your recordings, with a click you can send them to Facebook, YouTube, email them to somebody, save them on your own iPad. But just a great way to archive your instruction and make those things available to your students. That was Docere. Okay, so I preluded these before. When you get a handout at a conference or in a meeting, you don't want that piece of paper because you can't search it, right? So these two apps, I've lately been using JotNot Pro, but what it does is it turns your phone or your iPad or whatever else into a document scanner. When you take a picture with it, it will give you a tool there so you can tell it where the corners are. So if you didn't take it perfectly, or if you're taking it on a desk, it's going to be skewed somehow. If you're sitting on the side of a presentation, you snap a whiteboard, it'll allow you to deskew it and center that up so everything's nice and square. It'll also do some processing to make it high contrast so it's readable. And then again, that turns that photo into a PDF, into an image or whatever else that you can then send on. You can save by itself, or you can use that Evernote special sauce to scan that photo for text and make that text searchable. So the handouts I take, that one's called the Genius Scan Plus or JotNot Pro, J-O-T-N-O-T. Pardon?
That's two different?
There are two different apps, yeah. I started off with Genius Scan, but I'm using JotNot mostly now. But they do all tie into your Dropbox, to your Evernote accounts. You just scan them and send them off. And then you can scan them and search them later on. It's a really cool thing to do. Those are different services you can tie to it. And then there's this one that I kind of squoze in. See, I told you it was more like 70, 75 apps. This one adds OCR. Anyone geeky enough to know what OCR is to tell us? I saw a hand back there. Yeah, so it scans the text and turns it into editable text. So not only can you search for it, you can copy and paste that text and do something else with it. This one's about $5. PDF Scan Plus, PDF Pen Scan Plus. So it does everything that the other two do, plus that OCR scanning. All right, this is the big one. This has not been on the iPad until Thursday. They announced the Office suite of apps, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, to the world about a week ago. Good or bad? I have not been able to use them. I cannot give you any recommendations on them. But I do know, I've done some research on this, unless you have an Office 365 account with your school or personally, those apps are only really viewers. That means you can open up a Word document, view it, but you can't edit unless you have an Office 365 account. The cheapest one I found was about $80 for 4 years for a student account, which will give you, full access to Office on 5 computers and 5 tablets. But if you don't have the service, they're not really an editable tool.
University 365, you can get it for $80 for 4 years.
That's, yeah.
Okay,
$79, yep. That's the cheapest I found. It's about $1.89 a month, something like that. So if it's something that's worth to you and you have to have Office and you need these apps, you've got to have that service to go along with it. It looks very clean. I've heard it works really well. Again, I haven't had any time to use it. I don't have an account, so I wouldn't be able to do any editing. But Office is finally here for the iPad, and Microsoft has said they're going to, be moving it forward and being iterative and building on it. But it's a pretty solid release for a 1.0. So that's an option. I don't know if you need the other Office app or not. $8 one time is cheaper than an ongoing yearly fee. You make the call. But it's there. All right, Google search. You may think, why do I need a different search app on my iPad? Because I can just go in Safari and search and I'm fine. But this brings in different types of search. Google Goggles, voice search, and my location. So Goggles allows you to search by taking a picture. So it's a QR code reader, so you don't need an extra QR code app. If you click a barcode, it'll tell you where you can buy it locally and where you can buy that thing online and the different prices. If you scan a Sudoku puzzle, it'll give you the solution for it. Useful things. But they have just little tricks that, for a free app, it's free, so why not have it? The voice search will allow you to speak, and it's a lot faster than typing in a search term, and the voice recognition is really good. So you can use it to say, where's the best Italian place around me tonight when you guys want to go out to dinner, or what movies are showing nearby. And so these screenshots just kind of show you a few of the different things there. It also allows you to get into your other Google apps from this. So if you sign into Google Search, you can get your Gmail and calendar, all that kind of stuff faster as well. Okay, so Cloud On. So those of you who need Office, and I'm going fast, I know. Cloud On is the name of this one. This is a free Microsoft Office, how you doing, Doug? App that will allow you to open and edit Word documents, spreadsheets, and PowerPoints. You can save files right into your SkyDrive or Dropbox or other places like that. Here's the thing. I have it on my iPad, but I don't use it very much because unless you have an internet connection, it's not going to do you much good because it's not really Office on your iPad. You're talking to a server somewhere in a server farm that's running Office on a real computer that you're giving commands to, right? So if you don't have an internet connection, you won't be able to get to your documents, but it is real live Office with all the ribbons and function keys and everything you'd want if you're an Office user. I've transitioned to Google Docs, so I cringe when somebody makes me open up a Word document, but that's just me. Dragging dictation, this one I love. I might. You can have the best seat in the house, though. Look at my backside the whole time. Yeah. This one I'm going to demo. This used to be software that you would put on your PC or Mac for a couple $100. It's dictation software. You talk into it. It types what you're saying. But this app is free. You've got to have an internet connection to use it. That's about the only problem with it. But you can speak up to 5 times faster than typing, especially on the touch keyboard. And if you get used to the dictating instead of just speaking, you can make your texts your input is very good. So let me show you how this works, and I can actually, I think, I'll just show it here. Maybe. This one earns a spot, not in a folder on my front page. So hopefully you guys can see this. That's my old one there. I hit New Note. Let's see. Doug, comma, new paragraph. It's great to see you looking so well, comma, and thanks for joining me in my session today, period. Please let me know the next time you're down in southern Utah, comma, and maybe we can go for a hike, exclamation point. New paragraph. Good to see you, my friend, comma, new paragraph, Clint. What does it say? That's awesome. It says that's awesome. I didn't say that. It says, Doug, great to see you looking so well. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so it says pretty much what I said with the paragraphs, the commas, and everything else. I hit the little up arrow here, and I can click email. Do I still have your email address, Doug? dougjones@uen.org. Got it. Subject is thanks. Send. Okay, so writing notes to parents or reluctant writers in your classroom or whatever else. Yeah, so what you can do is you can take it from here, copy it, paste it into Office, Google Docs, whatever, and edit that. It won't do like an hour-long diatribe. You know, you may have to record in little chunks, but works super well, and it's free, and just, it works really well. Any other questions I thought I saw? Okay, yeah, so you dictate, it does the recording, you tap when you're done, you get the text. If it's unsure of a word, it'll kind of highlight it in blue, and you can tap it and either edit it or fix it right there. And then when you're ready to do something with it, hit the little plus arrow there, and then you can email it, cut it or copy it, or put it right on Facebook or Twitter. Just a cool tool, really great thing. Oh, and I've got this link on the document there. The tips there, you can turn on caps or ellipses or do all kinds of pre-editing when you're dictating. There's some tips there on how to do that. Okay, Reflector and Error Server. These are two different desktop apps, so they run on your computer. But what they allow you to do is what an Apple TV allows you to do if you have it hooked up to your projector. And what's that? I saw a thumbs up. What does it do? Yeah, whatever's on your iPad screen will show up on your computer up here on the on your big screen. Okay. Again, the stuff to do the error mirroring stuff is built into the iPad, so you don't need an extra app to do that. But if it's running on your computer, and I can show you, I've got Error Server running here. So I open up my iPad. There's a secret little drawer down here. Have you guys found that? Okay, if there's an AirPlay device out there on the network, it sees it. Uh-oh. I'm on the wrong network. You've got to be on the same network as your device. I've got to switch back to I brought my own network so that you guys wouldn't hog all the bandwidth. No offense. All right. So I hit AirPlay. There's my computer. I say yes mirroring, and then magically what is on my screen is now on the device. So Doceri works the other way around. It allows me to see what's on my desktop and control what's going on over there, annotations and show it up here. This just allows me to show you whatever's going on my iPad. Let's see, what's a good one? iCross, this one's kind of fun. I'm going to demo this next hour, but I got a cool little cube there. Ooh, you can say ooh. Good job. Okay, but so you get the idea. Whatever's on my iPad and I'm mobile, I can walk around and do whatever I need to do. Kids can take control. There's also a recording. You may want to lock the screen where you're using this to not get people sick, but it will record the screen as well. Problem is it doesn't use this microphone. It uses that microphone, so it may not hear you all the time. This is Error Server. Yep, there's another one called Reflector. Reflector came out first, but I think Error Server is doing a better job right now. Let's see, Reflector gives you a big 10-minute trial to make sure it works for you. Error Server lets you use it for a week. Oops, my mouse is in the wrong place. I've got to have my mouse right there. So let's see. So I'm not going to guarantee that these will work in your school environments. Your school networks they're enterprise level and they have many restrictions on them. But give it a try if you want to see if they work first. They both have that free trial. And again, it's your iPad screen up on the big screen, doing whatever you're doing. If you have an Apple TV, they are absolutely unnecessary. Yeah, it's a Error Server you can buy for $12 and have 3 licenses, so you and your 2 buddies can go without coffee for a day and buy it, chip in and buy it. Apple TV is $100 plus you've got to have a newer projector and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay, Splashtop kind of works like how Doceri does. It allows me to connect and connect to my desktop and record or not record, but control what's going on my desktop screen, so that again I'm mobile. I'm free from the corner over here, so that I can control what's going on with my computer. If you do an in-app purchase to upgrade to the whiteboard version of it, I think it's 20 bucks, then you can have the annotation part as well. But if you want to just use this to connect to your school computer from home so that you can use your Microsoft Word that you've got installed at school and not have to worry about Dropbox or syncing, all that kind of stuff, or if you've got Photoshop on your Mac and you want to use that on the iPad, this will allow you to just virtually connect and control to your computer to annotate and to work on it. Yes, ma'am.
So when you use it at home, is there on the computer?
It would have to be on, yeah. You're basically seeing the screen of your desktop and you're controlling it remotely.
And do you have to use the same wireless?
No. There's account settings in there. Basically, you tie it to a Gmail account on your desktop. You've got to be running the desktop part of it and your app, and it'll connect you to virtually. Yeah. That was productivity time, and I'm late. I took way too long, so we're going to have to speed up. Any other questions, comments on those apps? Okay, core time. Let's go. And again, if you get seasick, just close your eyes. So the first 5 are for language arts teachers. I was a science teacher. I have no expertise in this area. I'm just giving you some things I thought were cool. So Versus Notebook Rhyming Dictionary. What this does, it not only gives you definitions, synonyms, antonyms, this also gives you rhyming words to the words that you're typing. So this would have been a great thing to have when I had to write haikus back in 8th grade or whatever it was. It's just a fun little app. You put in your text, highlight a word, and then give me rhymes. You can define it, near rhymes or rhymes, and so it'll help you build that story. Versus. V-E-R, we go left arrow a couple times, Doug. One more. Versus. Notebook plus rhyming dictionary. Thanks, sir. And again, these are all in that document. I'll put up the link to it at the end. You can write songs, whatever you want to do, just kind of a fun little tool there. Okay, Fluency Finder. How many of you guys have to do little fluency timing things with your students and record them and do stuff like that? This app will do it all for you. So what it allows you to do is you pick a passage on a grade level, the student reads it, you mark every time they make an error, and then when you get the score back, you get their word count, their grade level, all that kind of stuff, and it's recorded for you and saved right there within the app. Yes, sir. They are in the app. They have several passages from grades 1 through 8. Yep. So you just pick them there, send your kids through it, mark the errors, and this one does cost a few bucks, but it apparently works well. Again, I'm not an English teacher. I don't know anything about it, but that was called Fluency Finder. Fluency Finder. Okay, this one is new to this presentation. It's one I've been using for a long time. What it does, read quick, is a speed reader app. But if I never really learned to not sound out the words while I read them, so I do really well with audiobooks. If I try to read a novel, I go to sleep because I just can't read fast enough. I can't get through it and I get bored. But what Read Quick does is it displays articles one word at a time. And you can set the frequency. Right? So at normal reading, I read at about 250 words per minute. I can read and comprehend 450 words a minute with this app. And so it allows me to get through the reading that I need to do for my job and stuff like that. It ties mostly into online services and things like that. Pocket, I don't have it in the presentation, but Pocket is an article bookmarking service. So you can throw them into Pocket and then access them here and just blast through them. Let me show you what it looks like. This one, I bought it, I guess, when it was cheaper. It's $10 right now. If you have dyslexic students, though, this is an amazing thing. So I can change the reading speed here. The words per minute, I'll put it about 445. I can pick an article. It gives me the time that I will be able to read it at that speed. And then I just double tap to start. That was a very short article. Let me reset that one. Okay. So if that'd drive you nuts, then don't use this app. This is great for me because I don't have to track. I'm a little dyslexic, and so I don't get my words mixed up. You can kind of jump back 10 seconds and keep going on. But if you have students that are having trouble with reading or just yourself, cool little tool. There's a built-in web page or web browser. So you can go to a page and say, let me read this page, but you can't. Right now they don't have the ability to like put in open source books or stuff like that right now. It's just, yeah, anything that's online, you can pop it in there. Yeah, so just read quick, you pick your article, you pick your speed. It does tie into the guy that wrote or developed this app is a tech journalist. So that's kind of where his bent is right now. But again, if you've got Pocket or Read It Later or some of those other Instapaper, if you're using those apps to kind of bookmark articles to read later on, you can tie them into here and read them much faster. Okay, OneDrive and one-click digital. How many of you guys read books? Say yay. Yay. And there was much rejoicing. How many have a local library card? Okay, yay. If you have both of those things, you can use these two. This is mostly for audiobooks, but Overdrive is the system that the state uses for its digital library collection. Okay, so you can get instructions from your local library, download the app, and you can start checking out free audiobooks and ebooks from your library. Pretty simple to do. You associate your library. I would recommend browsing and checking out books online because the interface isn't great on the iPad, but then once you've got those in your queue, you can read that book, listen to the audiobook, whatever. If it's not, the one you want is not available, you can place a hold. Once that comes available, you got 3 days to pick it up. And then you can check it out for 1, 2, or 3 weeks, and after that time it magically goes away, or you can turn it in early. But it's just a great way to get free books to read on your device. And then one-click digital mostly works with audiobooks, but again, it's kind of a podcaster kind of reader thing, and they work well. I rewrote the instructions. The one in Cedar City gave me like 6 lines, which I thought was insufficient. Washington County Library gave me about 3 pages, which I thought was overkill. So I kind of rewrote them to help me, to help everybody else. Okay, Scribble Press. Instead of reading books for your kids, let's have students create books. I really, really like the iPad as a creation tool. It's a Swiss Army knife for education because it's got all the things you need, the touchpad and the record, the audio, camera. You can do a lot of great things. Scribble Press is I think it's a $3 app. What it does is it's got a few different story templates, kind of like Mad Libs, where kids can go through and fill out the words, or they can write their own story from scratch. And then each paragraph of that story now gets a page in your ebook. So here's the first interface. You can go in an existing book or create a new book. Pick your template, and then again, every paragraph gives your students a place to draw whatever they want to draw about that book. And then once they finish that book, they can save it to iBooks on their iPad. You can even set up an account through here and actually publish it as a hardback book. The best thing about it, I think, though, is this marker wall. In college, I would just go to the art section and just stare at all those pens. I think, wow, that'd be cool to have. So you can pick any color and then pick the thickness of the marker or stamps or whatever to use in your toolbox to create your stories. There's also stickers and fun things like that. Fun little tool. Taking that up a notch, Book Creator and Composer Pro, these are both ebook creation apps so that your students are not just, again, consuming things on the iPad, they're actually making things, cookbooks, lab reports, whatever, and they can do it right there on the iPad with all the tools that are there. So the Book Creator is a bit more simple, easier to use. You can bring in your own pictures with the camera, whatever you want. You can have full-on text editor, hyperlinks to different things. And then the Book Creation Pro, this is a tool that like Scholastic and those guys use. It's a pretty high-end book creation tool. You can do animations and things can move all over. And if you want to spend the time and creativity to do some fun things like that. That was language arts. Okay, got to keep going. Some mathematical apps here. Numberline. This is a very simple little app. I think it was written by a 15-year-old kid. But what it does is it takes fractions and percentages and decimal numbers, and you've got to put them on a number line in their equivalent parts. So it's a really nice, quick little fun game to get kids thinking about equivalent numbers and help them with that little piece. That's number line. That's $1 or $2. I know it's not free, but it's not real expensive. Is it free? Cool. All right. Do they? Cool. This one? Yeah. There are some apps on the iPad that are just magic. And this is one of them. This one is really cool. My Script Calculator. What it does is it will allow you to, let's actually show this one, if I can. Got to connect. Let's see, where would that be? That would be under math, I bet you. Calculator right there. Okay. What I love about this one, it kind of brings the fun of playing with numbers back. So I can say, what's 7 plus 10? 17. Well, okay, what if I multiply that? 70. Let's scratch that out. Let's make that like 300. What does that do? 2100. Oh, what if I divide that by 17? Okay. Well, now let's see. Let's scratch that out. Let's put in a question mark there. And that's equal to 17,350. Yeah. I love the gasps. So much fun. Okay. You can see, just a fun calculator that you can, it makes math kind of tactile and fun to play around with. I would highly recommend clicking the little hamburger icon up there. That's the official name for those. You learned something today. Little 3 bars there, it's a hamburger. Go through the tutorials and make sure you know how to do what you need to do with this app to get the full depth and breadth out of it. Does it cost anything? Is this one still free? Free. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it won't do graphs or anything like that, but
my daughter was doing average.
Seriously?
This is the average of the teacher's test scores. There's one missing.
12 to noon.
And so
Oh,
she was able to just
okay.
sum them all up, put a question mark, divided by the total, and then here's the average, and it told her what the line was missing was.
Yep.
Rather than having to do the algebra.
Square roots, you can put in cosines and whatever that symbol is right there. You can put those in there. Even some really complex things, and then you can send them out. My good man told me that I'm running out of time, but I'm running into my next session. Let's get through these core apps real fast, and maybe I'll just skip around. Wolfram Algebra Course Assistant. This one, you may not want to show to your students, because not only will it give you, well, you might, because you give it an equation and it will solve it for you. Not only will it solve it for you, but give you the steps to solve the equation. It'll chart those for you. And if you have to leave, feel free, I'll be fine. And they make these for lots of different math courses. Math Champ Challenge, I'm going to skip that one, it's kind of cute. Let's see. No, I don't want to go that way. Let me zoom out a bit. Let's see, what are some fun ones? Let's do these. This one's a great tool. Does not require an iPad. It only requires a web browser. So if you have a computer lab or Chromebooks, or if students bring their own devices, what these are, dang it. These are online student response systems. So the clickers, you can do that with just a web browser. You can send out different quick learning questions. So this is infused learning. I can send out a quick true or false multiple choice. Draw response, kids actually can draw their answer to get back. You can set up quizzes beforehand or not and set them up on the fly. Socrative works kind of the same way. You get that instant American Idol kind of voting with charts and things like that. And there's a new one coming. Has anyone heard of ClassFlow yet? It one's brand new to me, but what this is kind of Nearpod and infused learning and all that kind of stuff smashed together. It's coming from Promethean. It's in beta right now. It's free. And it's kind of a cool tool to check out. Sketch, you bet. Still got 2 minutes here. What Sketch does, Sketch allows you to take screenshots. Do you guys know how to take a screenshot with the iPad? Whatever's on the screen, just hit the 2 buttons and it'll flash, and the power button on the top and the home button on the front. Hit them together, it'll take a picture of whatever's on your screen. And then that goes into your camera roll, but then you can use Sketch to put text, draw lines, annotate it up. You can even blur out different things. If you got students in the picture that they can't publish the picture online, you can blur their face out and put little arrows and stuff like that. This is an Evernote product, so it ties right into Evernote, making it nice and convenient, or you can save it and use it other places. Evernote Peak, this is a fun kind of study card app. If you've got that magnetic cover, what you do is you can set up cards or import them. The first flap will give you the question. Second flap will give you the answer. Close it, and it'll advance it to the next question. So kind of a fun way to use that cover to do quizzes. You can import stuff from all over the place. Khan Academy, do I need to spend time on that one? Hopefully you guys know about that. So I'll flip ahead. Khan Academy is videos, little short videos from on different concepts in math or other areas. And they're kind of self-contained and sequential. So kids can use it. You can use it for remediation. You can use it to challenge students to kind of go beyond. But he had to have a lot of tools in order to do this kind of stuff. And here's my last recommendation. This is my favorite app for teachers on the iPad. Explain everything. ScreenChomp kind of does the same thing. EduCreations does the same thing. But these are screencasting apps. So whatever you have on your screen, it'll record. You've got a record button, so it'll record whatever's going on your screen, your annotations, your voice. With ScreenChomp, that's a free one. It sends it to their website to watch. With Explain Everything, you can bring in resources from a lot of other places, even a full-on web browser within a little presentation. Then you can record, annotate, whatever you do on the screen again. You can export it out to photo roll, right to YouTube, Dropbox, whatever. It's a great app to do screencasting and explain, do little projects that you can use or your students can use to demonstrate knowledge. So we'll call it there. Thanks for coming. Yes, I will.